Hey everybody, ABC, back for another one here. Mark at Twanger's Turntable. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your days, whatever it is you're doing. Doing a follow-up to a video I had done previously, I think last week, week before, just in regards to trying to find ways to buy vinyl for on a budget, essentially. Clearance items, stuff I would find that in bins that were essentially maybe got some cosmetic damage or the like on the cover, the outer sleeve, whatnot. But yet, in my experience to this point, the vinyl itself is mint, brand new, nothing wrong with it at all. And that's the important thing to me. I mean, obviously the artwork, the outer sleeve is important, but in my opinion, to a far lesser degree. Interested in your thoughts on that. Is it something you would do? Yes or no? Maybe so. I do have another video. I'll link that video to this one. This will essentially be a continuation. And these are all of the clearance or bargain variety vinyl records I've found, be it at, in some cases, the local shops, the record stores, Sunrise Records, things like that here, the mom and pop stores, some of the online stores. So the first one I got, well, they're actually not in any particular order, but just so you can see what I've purchased. And in the other part of this equation is they're typically, not typically, in every case that I'm going to show you, less than $20 Canadian. So whatever that is, US or the pound or the euro, whatever, I don't know. But it's relatively inexpensive if you've priced out vinyl these days to buy brand new reissues and whatnot. This is a classic. Love this album. I do have the original copy of this, but when I saw this for, I think it was $17, again, Canadian. I'm going to stop saying that. Whenever I refer to a price, it is Canadian, whatever that converts to in other currencies, I don't know. But you can see it's got some damage on the outer cover, but really insignificant in my opinion, because as I alluded to, the vinyl itself is mint, and comes with the original inner sleeve artwork. It's not actually in a sleeve, it's just the inner artwork. The sleeve was a separate sleeve, just a paper sleeve, this one, but I always put them in these plastic sleeves as a protection. And the vinyl, as I alluded to, I won't go through every one and show you this to the same degree, but I mean, they're mint. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the media. So I think it's awesome. So yeah, I went a little nuts with a few of them over the course of the last. To those who don't know, I'm relatively new to the YouTube community, and although vinyl is not new to me as a medium, I grew up with vinyl. It was always around, and I did have some to a degree in storage for many years. But I've kind of become reacquainted with it in the past 3 or 4 years, and primarily these are ones that I've added in that window of time, that time frame, the last 3 to 4 years at most. So that one, and the original one I've got, you know, it's seen better days as far as the outer sleeve goes in its own right. I mean, it's got some edge wear and obviously the ring wear from being in its. But yeah, I won't go through all that. Just as a comparison, it's probably, in my opinion, Aerosmith's greatest album. There's just so many, right from the start to Back in the Saddle, Rats in the Cellar. Well, I could go on and on. There's so many good tunes on here. Last Child, of course. How could I forget that? Sick as a Dog, Nobody's Fault, Get the Lead Out, Licking a Promise. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, there's not really a weak track on this album, but that's the original one. And I got that new reissue, and I think the reissue is It's recent. It's like 2021, I believe. Fairly recent. Another one I picked up. This one I think was $14, and I've always liked these guys. My mom used to have a few of their collection when I was a youngster, but CCR, Cosmos Factory, I think it was $14. I mean, great album. I can't see. Pardon me. Cheaters. Yeah, Traveling Band is on here. Looking out my back door, run through the jungle, up around the bend. Who will stop the rain? I heard it through the grapevine. As long as I can see the light, it's like the greatest hits right here. I mean, there's a few mainstays that aren't on here. Well, quite a few if you think about their discography. But CCR, just a fantastic band. Of course, I actually know of people who don't like CCR, and to each their own. That's fine, right? That's just that's what it's all about. I mean, opinions may vary. That's taste, and so what one likes, another may dislike. That's just the way things are in all of life. Next one I got was Caius, and this was their final album before Josh went on to Queens of the Stone Age and then Crooked Vultures, other stuff he did. But this is a great album. I mean, it's that kind of I don't know what, I'm not going to categorize it. If you've not heard it, check it out. It's easy nowadays. Type it into YouTube here. I mean, it's right at your fingertips. But wait till you're done watching my video. But yeah, this is a great album. Love all their stuff, actually. But this one in particular, I really enjoyed, and I was stoked to get that for, again, less than $20, probably 14, 15 bucks. This one, I was pleasantly surprised at this one because I don't see anything wrong with this one. And I love all his stuff. I've featured some of his work on other videos I have. But yeah, Fear of the Dawn, Jack White. This is great. And I don't even know what's wrong with this one. Quite frankly, I can't find an issue with this whatsoever. I mean, it was brand new. And sometimes they just have these, you'll see something drop by 10, 15 bucks on Amazon, and it'll last for an hour. And if you happen to hit that button in time, just this little artwork that's included. It's got the song lyrics and some artwork he included. Just a fantastic artist, period, but musician. He plays pretty much every instrument here and there. And of course, as I've mentioned, his work with the White Stripes, the Dead Weather, everything. He's just such a talented dude. And it's good stuff. So it's not just a matter of, there's lots of talented dudes, but again, that's my opinion, right? Not everybody is a Jack White fan. Not everybody, there may be those that like the White Stripes, but not his solo work, or like his work with the Dead Weather or the Raconteurs. I mean, but yeah, pretty happy to get that. Next up, this is a great Canadian band here. And I believe this was their last album before Gord passed away. This is the Tragically Hip. I'll take that out of that shiny sleeve so you can see it better. Man, Machine, Poem. Man, Machine, Poem. And I believe this was their final release before Gord sadly passed away due to cancer. Stupid cancer. And this one is on white vinyl. I featured a white vinyl quite a while ago, early on in my channel day, when I was doing my tongue-in-cheek spin clean conversion to ultrasonic. Yeah, that again was 14, 15 bucks, but I don't see anything wrong with this at all. And this is actually a really good album. I don't always like everything the Hip did. I prefer their earlier catalog. But this is a solid album. It's really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I mean, I had heard some of it just because of my Amazon. I stream a lot of tunes through, not Amazon, sorry, Apple Music. I had Amazon before, Prime, but the Apple Music, in my opinion, is just such a better streaming service. So I had heard pretty much all the hip, but yeah, when I came across that on vinyl, I jumped on it. This is one. This is kind of like fond memories. It's more of a sentimental record that I bought, but it was $14 again, 13, 14 bucks, and it's got a lot of their greatest hits, and it's the Bee Gees. Throughout, spans pretty much their whole career, right from Spicks and Specks, New York mining disaster, To Love Somebody, Massachusetts, Words, I've Got a Message to You. I started a joke. I mean, that was probably one of the first Bee Gees songs I can recall. But then it goes right up to, the stuff they did in the 70s with Jive Talkin', You Should Be Dancing, Staying Alive, Night Fever, More Than a Woman. It's got the Tragedy. I do have that record, and I have the Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night Fever album soundtrack. So, but yeah, good album. I just thought of one that I didn't pull out. Stand by. I'm going to grab it. I have to show it. So yeah, this is another one. It was $11. I remember this one specifically because this is a part of the vinyl collection, the vinyl thing that I probably would have never purchased this on any other format. Let's get a little. It looks like a scuff, but it's not. It's actually a little piece of plastic. There we go. Juice Newton. Now, I'm not a huge Juice Newton fan by any stretch. Angel of the Morning, the very best of. And from my understanding, these are actually re-recorded versions that she did in 04, 05, maybe beyond that sometimes, of Angel of the Morning, Queen of Hearts, Love's Been a Little Bit Hard on Me, Break It to Me Gently, The Sweetest Thing I've Ever Known. But yeah, it's more of a novelty, and being a music enthusiast, I can put it on and listen to it in the background, casual. It's on pink vinyl, of course. I think I did a little a trivia teaser thing with some of my friends on another social media platform. I don't do much social media, but yeah, that's another one I picked up that I would never, and I don't see anything wrong with that one. I think that was just strictly a clearance one, that not a high demand for that, so it was on sale, grabbed it. What did I say that one? I think it was really cheap, like 11 bucks. This one was about 20, I think $21. This is an exception to the rule that we're all under 20 bucks. But this is Abbey Road, the reissue. And I think this was actually redone in 2019, something to that effect. I'm not a Beatles expert, but there are those who are quite qualified to correct me if I'm wrong. Please leave a comment if you know. But it's right up there as one of my favorite Beatle albums. I think my favorite is Sgt. Pepper's, but this would be up there, probably next in line, pretty close with that or the White Album. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this outer sleeve. This was one of those clearance ones that evidently was, I don't know, they put them in their warehouse deals, Amazon, and I snatched it up. It sounds great. So, I can't remember if I featured this. I don't think I did, but anyway, it's one of my favorites from the early '80s, and that's and I really like these guys, Talking Heads. Speaking in Tongues. This is the one with burning down the house and whatnot. And again, there is nothing wrong with this outer sleeve or the wax. The record itself, the vinyl is perfect. So these, I think, are, to me, well worth. There was an argument that could be made a couple of years ago when vinyl became a thing again and prices were starting to increase dramatically. There is a tiny little crease down here, I just noticed. But so insignificant, I don't know. You can even see it. It goes across the outer sleeve here a little. fairly insignificant. Well, completely insignificant to me. It's the vinyl that matters most. But yeah, when vinyl started to go through the roof in pricing and demand was there. Pardon me for a second. Cheers, everybody. Saw records that were, I just got in the tail end when things started going nuts. Well, and that's only my perception. I mean, people that have been into into the vinyl and never left, you know, were always buying vinyl, which must have been really tough. There must have been only specialty places they could buy vinyl, let's say 10 years ago, when vinyl was virtually unheard of. But I remember going into some of the used vinyl stores and seeing really good records for $5, like brand new, virtually brand new. You can't find that anywhere that I've found, at least where I reside. Maybe that's different in some other markets. I don't know. Anyway, another one I picked up. This one's got noticeable creases on the outer sleeve, but I wanted this one for a long time. Love Iron Maiden, and of course this was their second vocalist, Bruce Dickinson, and actually the last record, studio album he put out before going back to Iron Maiden. And Adrian Smith as well, the guitar player from Iron Maiden. But yeah, this is The Chemical Wedding. Just, I think, his heaviest album, solo album. It's just such a good album. But you can see there's some noticeable creases on the corners here. That's really, you know, that's it. And it's on colored vinyl. It's a 2 LP set, blue, and I think it's supposed to be yellow, orange. Not sure if that shows up. Actually, I think it was listed as brown, kind of a brown, translucent brown. But sounds amazing. Love it, love it. So stoked to have that. I played it the other night because I just got it, and yeah, I had to share that. It was just one I'd been wanting for a while, and this brand new, to get this, you know, when it's not in the clearance or bargain section warehouse, I think is $60, $70. It's up there. It's over 50 for sure, and I would not have purchased it in that case just because it's too much. And then this is an old favorite of mine from way back. I think this was actually first released in '67. So before I was born, actually, but Traffic and Mr. Fantasy. Love that tune. It's almost like it's kind of a psychedelic rock album, and that Mr. Fantasy song almost doesn't fit on here. I'm getting into something a little more than I intended. I just wanted to share the ones I purchased, but you listen to the entire album, or when I listen to the entire album, that track really stands out, and because it is kind of a psychedelic rock album. But Dear Mr. Fantasy, it's just ever since, as long as I can remember, I love that tune. Such a great tune. So that's an album I could say I purchased just for that tune, but I do like the entire album. And for $12, I think that one was $13. Yeah, I had to. And these are guys. It's, I shouldn't say not often. It's happening more and more now that I'm into the vinyl community and seeing others present stuff that I had never even heard of that was out there. Because back in the 80s, it was mostly heavy metal for me. Metal, hard rock, and not much outside of that spectrum would I even listen to. Maybe just regular stuff I'd hear on the radio periodically, but, you know, didn't listen to a lot of radio, maybe in my early teens. But and I had influence from older siblings and their friends and whatnot, as I've mentioned before. But I never heard of these guys, and it's actually really good. It's kind of the, well, they're called the Feelies. I was mentioning this over at Patrick's channel there, the vinyl archivist. He does some streaming, and just asking if anybody had heard of them, and there was a fair bit of people who had heard of them. But I had not, and this is I guess it's their first album, Crazy Rhythms. And they do a Beatles cover on here. Yeah, everybody's got something to hide except for me and my monkey. but it's very reminiscent. They're like, to me, I just think of them as four very young teenagers in a garage that don't seem all that well, not that proficient with their instruments, but they pull it off. It's really lo-fi, new wave, punky, and I think they were, to me, I don't know much about them, so you can maybe advise me, educate me on these guys if you know something about them. I haven't done much research, but they sound a lot like Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, mixed with Talking Heads, the Police, that new wave, even some Blondie of that era. This came out in 1980, so it's funny because immediately what I thought of when I saw this was Weezer's first album, their Blue album, Como and the boys. It's very, I don't know if they were influential to Weezer or not, because as I alluded to, I hadn't heard of them. But anyway, that's it. I've run my video here almost just over 20 minutes, and I intend it to be shorter than that. So it is what it is. Those are some of the recent clearance vinyl I've picked up. But over the course of, some of these are going back to before I started the YouTube channel, so well over a year. As I alluded to, I've gotten back into it the past 3 or 4 years and scored some of these before they went crazy expensive, and some I've just waited patiently until they were available for what I consider a reasonable price. That's it. I'm going to wrap it up at that. Hope you enjoyed that. Leave a comment. Let me know. Are you interested in buying, not mine, but clearance vinyl? Going into it knowing there could be stipulations that they list, missing shrink wrap, damage to the cover, 5%, 10%, something like that. I take a chance on it. What's the worst that can happen? If it's too bad, I can send it back. I mean, there's no exchanges. They won't give you, the equivalent brand new. It's a clearance item, but you get your money back. So there's of no risk. But so far, I've been, with one exception. I did order a vinyl at one point, and they sent me a compact disc that I sent back. And unfortunately, it was a one-off. They only had the one, so they couldn't replace it with the vinyl I'd wanted, which was disappointing, but that happens. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in again here at Twanger's Turntable. I'll have another video coming up soon. As I alluded to, I want to do some of those contest entries that are out there in the VC. I see Poetry on Plastic. Is it Poetry on Plastic? Yeah, he did one for his 10,000 subscribers. Awesome, Michael. And other channels, Michael 45, Rachel's Ghost, Vinyl Richie. I really love your videos, dude. He does the top of 67 right up to, I think I don't know where he's at. The last one I watched, I think, was 77. Good stuff. Okay, that's it. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your days, your weekends, whatever it is you're doing. I hope you're enjoying yourself, and we'll see you next time on another video here at Twanger's Turntable.